Hello and welcome back to another housing video for Final Fantasy XIV, looking at items added in patch 6.4 for Final Fantasy XIV. The first one then of this particular video out of two that we're looking at in this video is the item known as the Fishing Rod Rack. This is a dyeable furnishing item for indoor spaces that's a decorative display stand for the fishing gear enthusiast. This is not a crafted item, in fact this is a scrip exchange item with white scripts. Go to any scrip exchange vendor in any of the cities in the game pretty much, and you will find under the scrip exchange section for Gatherer's Scrip under MISC materials, and then click on the white scrip exchange for music, furnishings and MISC, and then click show only recently added items, and you will find for 800 white Gatherer scripts the Fishing Rod Rack. This is the only way to get a hold of this, aside from the market board, of course. The other item that we're looking at today as well is another rack, which is a wall-mounted pot rack, which is actually, if we go over here, you will see here is a Armorcraft level 90 recipe, basic level 90 recipe added also in patch 6.4, which is a, obviously 90 basic recommended craftsmanship of 2805 using palm lumber, manganese ingots, and chloroschist whetstones to create it. Let's look at both of these items in the house then. Alright, here we are in a somewhat well lit section of our FC house, so let's have a look at these items together then. First of all, I think it would be a good idea to look at the fishing rack and see how big this is. So initially it is much bigger than the size of my own character. I am a small female Mikote, if you want to give that a good scale. And this item then, in the game, in first person mode, looks like this. We have ourselves 3 fishing rods aligned in a rested position next to what appears to be this frame. And then we've got some drawers over here and one of these fishing glass balls. These are essentially floats in these nets. You can actually buy them in fancy antique places as well. I don't know if you've seen them, these big glass balls with ropes on. That's what they used to have in real life as floats. They're hollow, and yeah, they provide luminescence when you shine a torch on them, things like that. Yeah, very cool actually, very traditional style. We've got 3 different rods here, sort of like a red sort of oak wood, and then some kind of walnut over here, and something that looks like steel. Very cool. And then this ballast bag at the top there, sandbag I would guess. Yeah, it looks pretty good. From the back there's not a lot of detail. I would have expected a little bit more, especially considering how expensive this is in terms of scripts. But again, what else are you going to use your Gatherer scripts on after a certain point anyway? In terms of dyeability on this item, then the furnishing changes color, as you would imagine, for the wood, which comes with a variety of different looking, resolutions with wood grain sort of reality. Looking better, I think, in darker colors. Looking a little bit muddled in the brighter colors. The pixelation of some of the items in this game has certainly been reduced of late, but I would say that this item is a lot more of what we were used to in the early days of housing items. I think that they could have done a better job with the drawers specifically there. It just sort of sticks out, especially when the rods themselves are a different resolution, but maybe that's just like upscaling of the texture or something else. But all in all, it's not a bad item, but certainly not something I would write home about myself. But if you're looking for, something to stick in a corner to give you an idea that maybe near the front door of your house, something from a good distance, that's going to look okay, isn't it? It's going to look okay. That's basically where we're at with that, in my opinion. And to go with that, we also have a wall-mounted item. So let's move this to the side, which is the wall-mounted pot rack. It says a handy circular rack for handling stovetop utensils. So, of course, imagine we were in a kitchen right now, which we're not. And this is what that would look like. So let's put it at sort of like a ground level so we can inspect it. And as you can see here, we've got ourselves 2 colanders or sieves. I guess those are colanders more than anything. That's a huge colander. Look at the size of that in comparison to my character. We're making a lot of rice or noodles or something, or vegetables that we're tossing around in there. And then we've got a variety of different pans as well, saucepans, such as this one. And then we've got some frying pans, like a skillet. Very nice, actually. I actually think this item is a very welcome addition. You can see how difficult it is in video games, especially in furnishings, to make a circular top. They've done that with some pans, but also this you could excuse as being how it looks like it's been designed in the game itself, with limited smithing techniques. It's like it's been hammered, then turned, then hammered, then turned. You know what I mean? It looks quite nice, actually. That's how I choose to interpret that, is rather than a limitation of making a sphere or a circular shape, it feels like it's been actually made like that. And they do make pans like that as well in real life. Yeah, like a polygonal shape. But yeah, it is more obvious on some of them. The way this dies then, I'm hoping that it's the wood, but hopefully in 7.0 they backdate and allow us to put the dual dye functionality into things like this as well. Yeah, so it is the wood as to be expected. I would have been amazed if it was the pans, but hopefully in the future they backdate some items in 7.x series so that we can change the color of the pan texture as well, because if you don't know, that is something they are doing both with furnishings and with clothing in the game as well, so, or at least a select few. Looking good in a variety of different wood textures then, lots of grain colors. Probably the opposite. It's going to look nicer in brighter colors. I think the darker colors are actually washing out a lot of that wood grain effect. So yeah, it's completely the opposite in my opinion in comparison to the other item. But yeah, 2 rack related items. I thought we'd put a rack related items into its own video. We're trying to get through all of the housing items so that when 6.5 comes out, I can I can do videos on those as well without forgetting some that I'd missed. Anyway, let me know if you've got these yet, if you plan to make a fishing area, or maybe just you want to have more utensils like I do for my kitchen scene. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Much love, more videos on the way, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.